Perfect. Hello and welcome everyone to the RWD podcast. I am your host, Viv. I'm a little bit sick, so if you guys hear anything weird in my voice, just know that I caught a cold again. I had a cold at the beginning of this podcast and also right now, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't stop us from creating the podcast. So Real World Discovery, or RWD, is Own Academy's online thought leadership series featuring experts from modern industries. So by subscribing to our podcast, you'll discover real world problems and solutions, gain industry tacit knowledge, and pick up insight and advice from an experienced professional on what it actually takes to succeed in real world. So subscribe now before it's too late, and let me introduce our guest to you guys today. The guest that I have for you guys today, he has a lot of experience in diverse business domain, and that is why he was able to successfully launch a venture capital founded company. His expertise include stakeholder communication, strategic finance planning, and implementing technology-driven solution. With his comprehensive skill set, he navigates complexities to scale business effortlessly. And what we're going to focus on basically on this podcast is the strategic finance planning part. I am so bad at it myself. I'm just good at saving money, and I don't even invest. I basically only put it in my bank account. So that's not a good idea either. So we're going to learn more about what it actually takes to make sure that you handle everything financially in the best way possible for your startup. Before going to the actual topic, please introduce yourself. So excited to have you here.
Okay, thank you very for the excited intro, yeah. So probably I will just make it short to just complete the background of myself. I came from like two set of education that sometimes people are not taking it because it's really different. My background was my bachelor degree was from art. So basically, I learned about creativity, I learned about creative thinking, I learned about how to create pretty visuals, branding, and that kind of work. So it's more like separate brain with the newest master's degree. So I take another master's degree to make sure that everything was aligned, that I could sell something, that I could build something on top of the numbers. So my background was the combination of the creativity and the numbers. So if you meet me as your boss, so you cannot just do some magic with me because I would know that everything is in numbers accordingly and creativity be able to be executed, or is this just some crazy stuff? So yeah.
Very difficult to have you as the Boston because you have to make sure everything is perfect. Sometimes we're working and we're like, but they don't have knowledge in this field, so that's okay. But we cannot do that with
Yeah.
you. Is
Yeah.
art and what you're doing right now as an entrepreneur business, are they related because you studied art? How are they related?
Uh, from my past experience, it's really related because human is not so rigid right now. Uh, Maybe when we talk about business, sometimes business is all about human. It's all about people. It's all about team, and that would be the one who buying your product, using your product. So to understand them, you cannot just see the number. They are not as rigid as the number, but you must see like quote unquote the art side of the human. Maybe to clarify, I will just say the more creative way, cultural way of person that we need to understand, and that is giving us a lot of impact and a lot of understanding how you should build your company, how you should understand your human, how you understand uh, building your team with a really different culture. So yeah, that was really one of the, I could say, like really important factor for my career, that it's bring me up at this point. Because if I don't have that kind of flexibility with uh, that factors, I don't think I just have this position, because I will just be like managerial level and then do some Excel and spreadsheet. But right now, I do have capability in uh, have more broad knowledge with the people and understand more deeper business understanding of, yeah, as you said, scaling the company in the proper manner without like destroying the team, understanding the team, but more like a good scale of growth.
Before going to the next question, can you tell me what your company is about? Can you tell us, the audience, actually, what your company is about? So then we can move on to the next question.
Okay, so my life experience is I had a chance to create a company that we have really strong team of CMO of CTO that we want to develop a digital product for F&B businesses, but we just don't want to make the product and the business just based on our hunch. So we create our own restaurant. So we create our F&B business to understand the process step by step. Is the person, is the people at the kitchen using our product, how they adapt on it, how they adopt in it, how they will willing to pay for it. So we could really have a good understanding of our own product and our own customer. So the next step would be our product would be either it diversified or will be terminated or will be being scaled larger again.
Okay, so now, considering everything you said in the previous question and what you mentioned right now about your company, can you tell me what are some of the key qualities that you think are essential for anyone working in this industry?
Maybe my current industry would be from the tech side of industry and combining with the quite basic mom and pops business. I mean, like we are selling F&B, right? F&B is without tech. Even though you are without tech, F&B will be there because it was our bread and butter business. But to combine that, to amplify the process, to improve, to to optimize the business process, yeah, you will need tech to scale. You will need tech to understand the data and so on and stuff. And to have an understanding in this kind of industry, you really need a strong, I call it like the T-shaped model of T-shaped model of understanding. So you really need a strong, broad knowledge as generalist to understand each of the verticals of the business. Like you understand finances, you understand data, you understand the product, you understand the operation, you understand the marketing, you understand the growth, you understand how to develop your product, but you excel at one uh, vertical. So in short, T as generalist, but you have the vertical as your really expertise of your skill. So you must have that kind of broad knowledge. Why you need this kind of T-shape? Probably you will hear like M shape or T-shape because some of the people have three expertise of verticals, but I think the basic, if we need to touch the basic, the T-shape was really the best way for us to learn because at the end of the day, it's not about solo contributing, but it's more like collaborative work. But before you go to the collaborative work, you really need to understand what is other division point of view, what is the matrix of other division that need to be taken care of. So we are not destroying the others objective of other verticals for our own sake. I mean that was the most critical thing that you need to have in case you need to grow faster. You will grow, you will have the founder perspective, you will have your manager perspective, and it could really leverage you a lot in the competition with in the industry.
Mm-hmm. And all the knowledge you actually have from different industries also, I think, help you manage everything easier and better, like have a complete understanding of what's going on and how to handle everything.
Yes, correct.
Let's take this to a more financial part. So what are the key financial consideration that entrepreneurs should keep in mind when starting a small business?
mm, I always said whenever this question pop, the most easy way when we talk about business and the finance is just the difference of how the money in, how the money out, and you get the margin. So let's downsize it in like more personal business. Just making sure that you have how you get your money in, you know your customer, uh, why they buy your product and how they buy your product, and then counting how much money that you will uh, the expense. I said it's including your salary, including your needs, but it's not in term of personal, but in term of you are the worker of that business. So you separate it from personal and business. When you have the margins, that's your company margins. That margins that need to be reinvested to your company, is it either to optimize the cost or expanding the revenue? It's just as simple as that. But at the end of the day, it's not about I'm just talking motivationally, but you must really have consideration. Open your Excel sheet, open your Google spreadsheet, put the number, count everything, understanding the process, and keep the margin sufficient for yourself. But let's say, but my small business is still not profitable yet. It's okay, but you must know how to make it profitable, let's say in 3 months or 6 months, because sometimes new businesses need more time to mature, need more time to understand the market and so on and stuff. Don't be too hard to yourself, give time, but keep iterating, keep understanding to make sure the margin was there and you have a really good chunk of I would just bluntly just have a good chunk of money, because at the end of the day, either you work, either you have entrepreneurial side, that number would be the most important thing for your life.
So it is correct when they say at the first years of a business, whatever you earn, you put it back to business.
Uh, Frankly, yes, but it depends on the aggressive model of yourself, because some
Mm-hmm.
businesses was good if you reinvest it immediately, but because some maybe you have other costs or maybe some unexpected uh, condition. As it's small, don't be immediately fund investors, because not all of investors is have a really good money or good understanding with your personal life, or because it's small business, right? Small business sometimes really close with your personal life, and you need to juggle it before it goes bigger and have a really own team to manage it. So to juggle that kind of model, I think just keep it as comfortable by yourself at your scale. Don't be too greedy. Just make it simple. Just making sure the money was sufficient for yourself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Makes sense. So what are the common mistakes, common financial mistakes, of course, that small business owners make, and how can they avoid those mistakes?
Okay, so the common mistake is really common is the business man or the business is not recording it correctly. We do like have the simplest way of finance is like P&L statement, profit and loss. Just make it, but you must understand how the money really count in your bank, not only in the digital side, but you really need to how, because many many transaction fee that sometimes we are not overlooked, even though it's the like 1% or 2%, but it's still you need to count it really details. Sometimes we are making mistake at the details of the counting level, yeah. So before we go like you are wrong at putting the money at the basket, you're wrong at the putting the money at the business reinvesting. Before we got that, just making sure the record of your finances was correctly placed, correctly well, and how you juggle with the loan, how you juggle with the payback. You must really have detail on that to make sure you are not making a larger mistake before that, because that was really crucial. That I call it like you must really have strong due diligence with the finance, how you record it, how you being responsible in it. Really, really small tasks, but uh, if you're not have a strong diligence in that small task, you're gonna have face a bigger problem. I can assure that.
So they basically, especially small business owners, they need to have a financial plan, right? Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Can you tell me what elements should be included in this financial plan that they have?
For the element of the financial plan, it's really depends on the industry. It really depends on the industry. But sometimes what we are not overlook is the economic of scales. How much discount you need to get, how much numbers that you have to get lower COGS, how to get a better price, how to get better volume. That is the thing that we sometimes not looking at starts, but it would be really good for us to have some numbers for us to chase. Let's say, don't just wave it like, I will just make it. Yes, that's a really good initiative, but you must understand, uh, at least have some small target for your own business. So you know to baby step, you know how to start walking, you know how to start running, stop doing this kind of activity, that kind of activity. So everything was tracked carefully and being optimized at the same time. That was a really critical process that you need to understand.
When you started uh, your business is in F&B, right? So when you started it, did you face any financial challenges? And if you did, can you tell me how you overcame it?
Yeah. Uh, my challenges was came from our multiple platform of sales. Each of the platform have really different accounting model that we need to reconcile it every day, and I must have an understanding of that multiple sales channel to ensure that our finances was have a good stream of understanding in the uh, records. So yeah, that was the most challenging one, and for that challenge I use a lot of tech to ensure everything was correct, and like it could be our source of truth of our business north star. That was quite the challenge because we do have a lot of sales channels when I'm building the F&B company.
So the sales channels were the main problems.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you sorry for my voice, everyone listening. Again, apologies for that. Uh, what are some of the effective strategies for managing cash flow in small businesses, especially during periods of growth or economic uncertainty, like the time that COVID hit?
Oh, yeah. When the COVID takes when we talk about the industry, some of the industry is gonna be collapsed immediately, like the F&B. If you don't have the eligibility of online food delivery, you're gonna be destroyed as soon as possible because uh nobody could have an offline meeting, nobody have like offline gathering in your restaurant and so on and stuff. But it would be really total different if you are at tech company. We have really high growth whenever we have when it was happen. But to juggle that kind of situation again, I must assure that one cash is still the king right now. Whenever you heard it, you must understand that cash is king. So have a really good cash flow, have a really good chunk of cash in your bank. It's gonna save you when this kind of situation happen. Yeah, I hope so not again. But cash would be really good way for you to escape or probably play defensive in that kind of situation. And maybe for the if that kind of condition happen again, one, you must step in as soon as possible in the new revenue stream. Let's say I had restaurants, haven't had some online platform for deliveries, and immediately touch that point, aggressively find another revenue that could be extend your cash flow. And the second one is optimize your cost. Make sure if you could have like what I could say, refinance, just do refinance. And it's not a, it's okay to do refinance for some other time to help your company still have a good cash flow until the situation recovered.
So acting fast, pivoting as fast as possible, that would be, and also being flexible enough to do that,
Yeah.
right? These would be the main points. So this is also a part of a characteristic of a person, or you need to build that also in you. One question I have, because since we are talking about the financial part of being an entrepreneur and starting your own business, if I don't have a lot of money in my bank account, can I still start my own business and become an entrepreneur? Can I think of it as a path, or do I really need to have at least a little amount in my account, like safe, before starting?
Okay, really, really good question. Really, really good question. So, from myself, I see entrepreneur is not about you have your own businesses, but it's more like a value. Entrepreneurship, when we talk about it, it's all about the opportunity. Sometimes entrepreneurship, you have opportunity in your company that you could have like that not most people have, because you are the one who inside the company, you have the value and you have the opportunity. It's called like intrapreneur. So it's quite look alike, but it's just the people who have drive, you have the opportunity to execute it. So I value the entrepreneurship is all about how you find your opportunity anywhere. And then, but from the other side, as we are growing right now, we had a lot of tech enabled that could support your own businesses without you need a really, really large capital. You could use agency model first as your uh, initial idea. So people who will pay you for you are doing their processes. And right now the model of one person SAS model tech company is really, really common, because you could outsource everything. You could outsource customer service, you could outsource uh, business processes, automation, because tech enable. For the knowledge itself, we are surrounding with a lot of people sharing their own knowledge, like this podcast and many kind of information source that you could digest, you could crunch it. So I'm pretty sure to execute a business, to kickstart, you don't need like $1 million, $2 million investment, but you really need the understanding of your market, see the opportunity, and then execute it slowly. But I think uh, the issue is not about the money. The issue is all about finding the opportunity. Is the market needed or not? If the market needed, I'm pretty sure uh, they are would be willing to like pre-order it first, so you get the cash first. Uh, many models that you could be defining as the progress of the tech, as the progress of the information. Uh, Anything could happen right now. Anything could happen, even without the money. Even without the money, I could pretty assure it.
Okay, so how can small business owners strike a balance between investing profits back into the business and their personal financial needs then?
Hmm. I do really like the model of I said that let's have a reverse engineering of your finances. So let's say you really need to understand the minimum requirement of your life, and then that would be the target minimum that should be achieved for your own business. So at least when you achieve minimum, you could still have a comfortable life. You could have good rest, good food, because that the one who drives the company is yourself, right? You cannot be imagine you create a business but you are not living comfortably. You would be really hard to concentrate. Would be really hard to see the opportunity, because You need to balance it out. You need to balance it out, but as you said, you really need one anchor numbers to start from. And I really high suggest that one number anchor would be your personal cost of that month, and multiply that, understand that, and then when you kick the business, that should be your minimum target number. If you could double it, be happy. If you cannot achieve it, have some saving. So that's really hard to juggle, but the reward would be really immersive for yourself, because yeah, this would be like quite an adventure.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about investors a little bit,
Yeah.
especially because the previous question was, do can we start a business if we don't have money? So can you tell us, how can small business owners establish and maintain a strong relationship with financial institutions and investors?
Mm, okay. So what sometimes went wrong is the difference of perspective. The investor perspective, they do have their own agenda. And our own perspective, we do have our own agenda, right? So, sorry, is this internet Viv? Are you there?
Yes, yes, all is good.
Okay, because my screen, you are frozen. I just making sure everything was okay. Okay, so get back with the
Okay.
investors. Uh, with these two different perspectives, you really need to understand both sides, the way of they thinking. Is it what is the investor expecting? What is I call it like we are the one who execute the business one, the executor perspective. You must have really strong align, sit together, understand together. What do you want? What is your demand? What from my demand? Is it I ask for money, or I ask for network, or I ask for like advisory, many trade-off instead only money. And that's also comes from the investor side. What do you want? Because sometimes investors just want to complete their own portfolio, they want to complete their own ecosystem. It really depends on the investors, the institutional. You must really have a good understanding from both sides of the party, as either you are the investor or you are the one who execute, just to make sure everything was good, everything was have been communicated. It's going to be a flourish result.
The Let's talk about your team. I have another, all of these questions, this stem is actually not having money. So we're building upon that. So uh considering that starting a business takes money, right? You need to have money. You're gonna just sit there, be poor, and start something. Unless you're very smart. But we're not talking about that cases. Um, how important is the creation of a team for yourself and outsourcing tasks, giving it to other people to actually do it? Do you think an entrepreneur needs to be, if you're an entrepreneur, you need to be a one man or one woman show for a while? Or do you think outsourcing the task right from the beginning, or maybe it may be like 1 to 2 months, once you have a complete idea, better idea of what you're going to do, outsourcing it would be a good idea? Or should you just like do it yourself until there's benefit and then starting the hiring process?
Okay. Uh, from my experience, I learned that my role shouldn't be in the company, let's say after 2 years. So at first, probably you will do everything by your own, setting it up, understanding everything, understanding the red line, understanding the finances, everything to set up is the founder's job. That was the most critical part. But after that, you need to delegate. You must find a strong team to establish delegation for the business to run. Why? Because the founder would be start stepping out from the business. Because sometimes founders mentality, they are not the best at their industry. They are the best at creating opportunity. They are the best at giving storytelling. They are the best to understand the pain point of the customer. But in terms of executing, sometimes there are people who are better. Then we must build them, we must trust them, and we must build our own team, because you cannot execute everything by yourself. You only have 24 hours, right? Even we are gonna have the same 24 hours. So you really need to start stepping out, understanding, give them your team opportunity. And then, so what would be the founders do? Sometimes the founders would be do the fundraising, do the marketing, do have more branding positioning to meet the rest of the networking. That would be the task that I will do after I establish things. And then it's going to be at the scale of the company. Is there anything? But from my perspective, founders shouldn't be executed too much. Founders
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be executed because they have bigger picture that they need to execute.
Mm-hmm. So one of our core competencies at Own Academy is teamwork and empathy. Then can you tell us more about the importance of that in your field as well?
Okay, maybe I will have more details in how to build a team, right? How to build a team. So I'm pretty sure my team was really happy working with me, even though, yeah, as you say, I'm not gonna be a really fun boss because you cannot do some magic with me, but I have value that I believe in, that you must do what you want to be treated on. Even though I'm the boss, even though they are my staff, even though they are my lower staff, I will treat you all the same. I will treat you as a human. You have like your own agenda. Like sometimes one of my team was uh, one kid's mother, and sometimes she need to pick her own kid at the school, and he asked for my permission because it was at the working hours, and I said, it's okay because it's normal, it's natural. Just pick your own kids, have a good time with your kids, but please just remember we do have tasks, making sure we have met our objective. And that kind of value being have, as you said, high empathy with them, it giving me a good investment of work. They would work like tremendously crazy, even crazier than me, because from my perspective, they said, uh, it's fun working with you, even though your numbers sometimes a bit crazy, but it's really comfortable for myself, for my family to be together, to have time. And sometimes that value is not about compensation, it's not about salary, but sometimes that is the thing that we need to overlook. So I would really strongly the value of team and empathy, because without my team, I don't think the company is going to be there. Uh, and they are the one who drive it the most at the ground. So full respect with them, and the way we manage the team, at the end of the day, it's gonna be my fault. So if I pick the wrong person, I'm not gonna blame them. I will blame myself. Yeah, that would be the failure that I'm living in right now.
I have one question. So when we are only like a normal person working in a company, we always think the way that if we are not satisfied with the way that our boss is treating us, we're always like, when I have my own company, when I become the boss of some people, I will not do this, I will not do that, I'll make sure I'm the best person. Like, I'll give them as many holidays as they want, or any other things. Just like holiday would be an example, just because you talked about picking up the child. um how many of these things that you told to yourself that you will not do when you become a boss, did you understand and change it when you actually became the boss of all of those employees, became the CEO of the company. Did you have to adjust or like understand some of the things that they were doing before? Be like, now I understand, even though I didn't like it, now I understand why they were doing that.
Yeah, really good question. I think this value was impacted from my previous experience from my last company. I think my everything, my whole experience when I'm working with the people, I see really really good example of good leadership, bad leadership, and I was there and I have opportunity to lead the team also, right? So I could test it out, which one works, which one not, and which of good leaders that I could understand and why they are doing this, why they are not doing that. And that also applies with like bad leaders, why they are pushing us so hard, but without giving us direction. To have that kind of an understanding is really, really painful. So I'm pretty sure that today as myself is the result of my previous experience being lead on by good leaders, being lead on by bad leaders. I think you will need a really, really strong process for that. You cannot just tomorrow, okay, I will understand the how I will treat it the human. I don't think you could do that because leadership is not the thing that you could read on and have been applied tomorrow, but leadership is all about you lead people, you understand what is going on and how you do the politics with them, you communicate with them, have understanding with them. Sometimes when we do kind to the others, they don't give it back again to us, and I think that would part of the learning. So yeah, about that, I think it was from long ago previous experiences with my team, with my peers, with my boss, and with my team.
So when it comes to team work and working with, even whether your team or working with a client or anything, there's always criticism and feedback. So how do you handle constructive feedback or criticism from your colleagues, your teammates, or even your supervisors or your clients?
Okay. Uh, Constructive feedback. At the end of the day, I will just blame myself. That's the easy part. But not in terms of your being hard on yourself, but uh, because at certain level of your career, there won't be many people surround you with either the bad feedback or good feedback. Nobody gonna say something maybe. And the most important thing as yourself is have a really strong self-awareness of yourself. Is yourself good enough? Is yourself not bad enough? But really, really have understanding. Not actually, I would have consideration before people giving me the constructive feedback. So before they giving me the feedback, I must assure that I understand it before people are speaking it. Because when people are talk to me with the constructive feedback, sometimes it's too late. Sometimes it's too late. So before that, making sure I was fully aware what I'm talking, what I'm sharing, what I'm giving action to the others, be to ensure everything went smoothly, and it shouldn't be always constructive feedback. Sometimes uh, good feedback always good, always okay. Bad feedback always okay, but the thing that I'm really assured is before you get a feedback, making sure every day I reflect, I reconcile what should be wrong, what should be not doing, what should be good, why I'm not doing that for yourself. But in terms of not too hard for yourself, because I have a lot of colleagues, they are too hard for themselves. So it goes depressive way. I know it's hard, but I think that was the best thing for you to have understanding of yourself and to grow better and better and better.
Then, as a founder, how do you give feedback to your teammates that it
I will
wouldn't
give
discourage
feedback.
them?
Okay. Uh, if they not achieve the task, I will just, I mean, like, mm, I actually rarely do that. Why? Because sometimes I do it in the weekly basis. I'm not the type of pushing, hey, why this is not achieved, but it's already the end of the month. I'm more like guiding them week by week. So giving them the process understanding. So I could know also why they are not achieving it. And before that, I should be able, the one who helped them to achieve that. Because if I give them the feedback at the end of the day and they could do nothing, it will be total waste. So what I do is guide them before that and making sure they have a correct way to grow. Because sometimes not everyone working with us have the same speed as the founder, have the same degree of empathy. They do have their own agenda. They do have another life beside working. So I need to understand that and support them to have a good process and leading to a good result.
Sounds really nice. I'm actually eager to work with you right now at this point. The points you're saying, I'm like, I really want to see how that works. Okay, so one more general question for the people who are actually watching this or listening to this episode. What advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs regarding especially the financial aspect of starting and running a small business?
Okay. Before you do everything, learn how to validate, learn how to understand. Sometimes, right now, it would be really easy for us to speak. Hey, I would do this. Hey, I think the opportunity was this and there, blah, 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 blah. Before going that, learn how to sit, learn how to learn. Why sit? Sometimes we are seeing the problem with our comfortable level, not the user level. To sit with them, to understand them is the most critical way for you to get the opportunity before you go to the finances, before you hiring someone. The most important thing what is sit with them and then listen what they need. What are you sure our solution is the one that they need? Sometimes we do have some ego, right? I think this is the solution for them, but we are not them. We are not having the condition like they are having. It would be total different experience. I mean, like to sit together, to listen to them, that would be the first step before you are going anywhere. Just sit and understand. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be change your perspective. That's gonna be change the way you work. Before you like we could talk about how we optimize the business process with AI. We could talk how we could do cloud computing, data aggregation, and so on and stuff. Many things we could do, but it would be total useless if nobody gonna buy your product. So focus on the one who buy your products, use your product, and understand them is the most critical way before you execute a business.
This question that I'm going to ask is pretty personal. As you were talking about being an entrepreneur, it just hit me. So lately, I know that this has been happening in the recent year because a lot of people around me had the same experience. When you're searching, when you don't know what you want to do in the future, basically, when you still haven't figured out that one thing that you're going to do, at least for a while, and you go and do like online quizzes, you search, the first thing that always pops out if you are like okay, I like a little bit of this, I like a little bit of that, and a little bit of the other thing. The quiz always says one of the choices is to be an entrepreneur. Do you agree or disagree with this?
I'm quite disagree because entrepreneur is really hard. I mean, like not everyone was able have the suit value really high risk taker because we don't like boring stuff. We will like try to do some adventure. We do like we want to change the world. We want to have some freedom, but it's come with really high price. Really high uncertainty. Sometimes not suit at your certain life cycles. If you have already kids, it's gonna be some troublesome if you immediately don't have the cash flow and so on and stuff. Just to make sure, be mindful of everything. Entrepreneurship would be great. You could still be an entrepreneur even though you are working at some company. You could still do it safer, but probably you will have more effort in your process of time and so on and stuff. But everything should be in order of entrepreneurship. uh I would highly entrepreneurs would be around like 1% or 2% of the population, I think. But right now, seeing many uh, advancement in tech, advancement in internet, it would be enable us to explore more. I would highly, before you go to the entrepreneurship, yada yada thing, I would highly suggest that you explore a lot of your own interests because finding the solution is not like one day stuff, but it's more like cultivating the experience, cultivating the understanding, cultivating the network. Some succeed, yes. Bill Gates, yes. Mark Zuckerberg, yes. But not all of us sometimes have that kind of opportunity. So just be be confident by yourself. You have the accumulating network. That would be one part of some value that really important. Or maybe understanding about finances after you work at consultancy, or maybe you have understanding of operation after you work 5 or 10 years in the uh, operation heavy industry, and that's okay. That's okay. Don't be too glorified that you must reach fast. No, entrepreneurship is all about adventure. It's all about fun. It's all about uh, establishing your own idea, and take it slow, take it easy, enjoy, and I think have uh, have fun in exploring. I think that would be the most critical thing because you cannot find the opportunity if you only have one perspective. You really need multiple point of view to get the understanding of your solution of the problem and so on and stuff. Yeah, that's would be my take.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I actually wanted to ask you to have a final word with the audience, but I feel like what you said right now is basically what they need to hear as the final word. But if you
Yes,
but if you want to add anything, please go ahead before we wrap up the show.
I think that that would be my last statement because I'm quite afraid that entrepreneurship is like being glorified. We are seeing people have high title and so on and stuff. I'm more like entrepreneurship is more like finding a good time with your kids. Meanwhile, you automate your businesses, have more added revenue, doing what you like, but it could contribute to your revenue stream on so on and stuff. I mean, like I'm more like that kind of guy. Be happy, be content, and enjoy the life. Don't then just be entrepreneurship and depressed and then why, why? Yeah, I mean, like that would be my last statement.
Thank you. That wraps up today's RWD episode. Again, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share this content with a lot of people, all of your friends who think about entrepreneurship at the first steps. Share it with them. Maybe they will change their mind. Maybe it will serve their lives. You don't know. And to our industry expert, thank you so, so, so much for generously sharing your learnings and insight with us on this podcast. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Viv. I really appreciate this kind of opportunity.
Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.